Is providing assistance helpful or hindering to a blind person? Come check it out.
So reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel Blindtobillionaire. Today I'm going to do a video and Matt is going to be here with me to kind of fill in the gaps, okay? So today's video is going to be about if providing assistance to blind people is helpful to them or if it's actually a little bit hindering. Matt, anything you want to say?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. I'm the guest host here, apparently.
Yes, this is Corey, and I'm gonna host, and Matt is my special guest star. So what I wanted to talk about was if giving help is helpful or not. And so basically I was thinking about it because Matt and I went to the gym the other day. We go to the gym kind of frequently, and one of Matt's goals for independence is to be independent at the gym. And so he and his trainer for O&M training are going to get together at some point, and they're going to tackle the gym, and Matt's going to learn how to use his cane to like get in and out of the machine area. He is already doing the locker room on his own, and that's really successful. And then transferring from machine to machine alone. So currently what we're doing, and it works actually really, really well, is Matt will be on the machine and then he'll either FaceTime me or text me and either say like I'm ready to switch, or he'll say, hey, like he'll point his phone to machine, kind of like Be My Eyes, except I'm the Be My Eyes, helper, is essentially what we're doing. And he'll just be like, hey, is anyone on the machine next to me? And then I'll tell him, and then he'll go there. And I think that the system works really well, but what I was kind of thinking is that, am I really helping Matt when I'm helping him? And the deal is like, if you have somebody you love who's blind, you want to help them. Their life is hard enough as it is. The least you can do is not be like a jerk and be like, hey, fend for yourself. But you want to make their life a little bit easier. I mean, seriously, like you just want to do whatever you can to make things simpler, especially if you're around. But in bringing, you want them to also feel confident. You want them to feel like they have the ability to do something alone, and that will give them pride, and that will make them feel more confident, and more like through trial and error, they will become more successful. Matt, do you have anything you want to add about that?
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And as Corey was describing this, I was actually thinking, she has a lot of really good points. Now, we didn't discuss this topic before we started recording, so I'm just really listening and tuning into what she's saying because this whole topic is new to me, what she's talking about. But I completely agree that by Corey helping me get around, although it's easy and convenient for me at the time, I almost feel like it's actually limiting my growth as far as being independent, because if I know that somebody sighted is right there, just a text message or a FaceTime call away to come to my rescue to help me, then I know that it's like, okay, well, I don't really need to implement the skills that I've learned to do this independently, but rather I can just send a quick text and within 2 minutes someone will be here to help assist me, rather than if I were at the gym by myself and had to transfer machines, then it would be like, okay, let's implement the skills that I've learned to navigate to the next machine, whether it's 3 feet away or 20 feet away.
And I'm just gonna throw in, Matt's talking a really good game and he means it, but he has not indicated that he wants to do these things alone specifically yet. Do you know what I'm saying, Matt? Like at the gym, you're hesitant to switch machines because you're scared, because you don't want to bug people at the gym, you don't want to run into people. It's kind of like when initially Matt started O&M training in the mall, and he was trying to get around and whatnot, and it was a little bit hard, and people saw him with his cane, and he needed to ask for help. He would be kind of I would say embarrassed a little bit, and you didn't want to bug people, and we're kind of switching basically now to the gym. The gym is the new mall, where it's like, okay, I have to be the blind guy now at the mall instead of just some guy on a machine at the mall.
Exactly. And it's a little bit ridiculous that I'm not switching machines by myself, because I've had such great experiences with people when I've encountered them with my cane. I can't believe how many really nice, helpful people I've encountered with just as a result of having the cane out. In fact, yesterday when we were at the gym, I walked up to my locker and I had a really nice interaction with a guy that was 2 lockers away. We had a nice, pretty long relative to the conversations that I typically have. And we talked for a bit, and it was just a really nice conversation that I had with him. And the only reason I talked to him is because I walked into the locker room with my cane out, and then that was like the conversation point. I want to hit on one more thing now that Corey mentioned it in this last little piece, is like she said, I talk a good game, like I want to do this, and trust me, I do want to do it. I think my hesitation comes from a bad experience I had. I don't know, Corey knows about this, but it was like, I'm going to say like 6 months ago. It was over the summer. We were at the gym. This was before I had any O&M training of any kind, but I was feeling a little bit confident, and I was sitting on a machine, and I decided I wanted to go to the one right next to me. So I navigated my way over there. It was just basically within arm's reach. I basically reached over, felt the machine, and kind of like just walked over to it. And then I was like, I was feeling confident, I was feeling brave, and I kind of like poked my head around the corner, and I was like, hey, is anyone here? And there was a guy sitting there, and he basically made a really rude comment. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, this is awkward, because now I'm just standing here. I'm lost between machines. I'm standing like a foot away from this guy that was just mean to me. And I just stood there until I texted Corey and said like, hey, come help me. So I think that's why I'm feeling a little bit hesitant about this, is because I had a bad experience.
Actually, I didn't remember that. And
I told you the situation. He like
No,
blurted out like a rude comment.
But I mean, I just forgot about that, and that makes sense. So something I read one time or heard is that in order to negate one bad experience, you have to have 13 positive experiences to make the bad experience not like in the forefront of your consciousness when you're like in a situation. And I think we've all been through that in some capacity, whether you're sad or not, just like being in a situation where you feel really uncomfortable like that. So it makes more sense why you're scared. One thing I would say though is, did you have your cane out?
No.
Because if you did, it would have been a better situation, because he would have thought, whoa, I said something rude, but cripes, this guy has a cane. Now who's the a-hole?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
So if you had your cane out, I think it would have been a situation that could have been changed.
I
do feel bad. I'm not being like, I mean, I feel bad that situation happened.
No, I agree. Because at that time, I did not have my cane. I had nothing to indicate that I am visually impaired, blind, whatever you want to call it. So that guy he had no idea.
So that's interesting, though. Yeah. I think that's an interesting thing. One thing I want to touch on, though, there's two things I want to touch on specifically. One of the things that, like, so if Matt's goal is to be independent in training, like a step that we can do to get you more independent would be the switching of machines. And I just wanted to kind of clarify that. So it's kind of like taking this big goal of using the gym alone and breaking it down into smaller pieces, so that by the time his trainer comes, he's got this like switching thing down. And I'm not saying like, I mean, I am so happy to help Matt. We both know that, like, seriously, it's not a big deal. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
It's just essentially like I'm just trying to break the goal down to smaller goals so that Matt can like do this alone.
And that would be,
I mean, that's like what we're trying to do. We're just trying to break it down.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, that's my ultimate goal, be able to go to the gym and work out independently. And like Corey's saying, if we break this goal down now and start working on it a bit by bit before my trainer and I get there, it'll be like this is a breeze. I got this.
Yeah.
And the first hurdle was going into the locker room. The first few times I did it,
a big deal.
It was uncomfortable. But now I don't really care. I just walk right in. I whack people with my cane sometimes, and they jump out of the way, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But I mean, I don't intentionally hit people. It's just sometimes I bump someone's foot or something, and they're like...
Except when you use it like a tarpoon, and then it's a little intentional. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, okay.
But the other thing, which kind of like the locker room thing sort of touches on, is meeting new people. So one of the things that Matt kind of discusses with me sometimes and talks about is that he feels like he can't meet new people. And it's like he doesn't get to talk to enough people throughout the day.
Does that have anything to do with blindness or...
Do you think it's because I take over all the time?
Yes.
Matt's saying that like that, but it's like...
It is. Let's be true. Let's be honest. Yes. Okay, anyway, keep going.
Well, that's another topic for another day. And
we'll talk about that in another video.
We'll talk about it on our own time.
Yeah. Don't worry, everybody. When this video's over, we'll be brawling.
There'll be a brawl.
WWF, or is it E? WWE in the living room. Body slam.
Well, if there's a body slam, Matt will win. But if it has to do with using your claws, I'll win.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that it is something that Matt talked about. And when he became more comfortable using his cane at the mall, one of the things he talked about was like how awesome it was like to talk to more people. And so in using the cane at the gym, and he mentioned that when he talked to people in the locker room, is one of the things he talked about was getting to meet more people and like how rewarding that is and how meaningful that is to him. And so kind of the reward for being more independent and having his cane out would be the increased social interaction, which he desires.
Yeah. And, you know, going back to the mall experience, not only was navigating around the mall really exciting for me, just to have that independence of literally just walking around the mall, I think equally or maybe even more exciting about that experience was the interactions that I had with people. I mean, a couple times that I would go to the mall, it'd be common for me to interact with maybe like 3 people. I'd be walking along, someone would be like, hey, can I give you a hand or can I help you out? Or they would just start talking to me for some reason. And it's like, that literally never happens. I talk to maybe a new person, maybe like 1 person a week. And I was interacting with like three people in a day, like 3 people in an hour. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like 3 people wanted to talk to me. That's crazy. That doesn't happen.
And I just feel
so it was really exciting to just be able to interact with people, somebody other than my family and Corey. Not saying that I don't love talking to those people, I do, but there's a ton of value in interacting with strangers.
And the more you do it, the more confident you'll get and the more like normal it will feel. And so that's one of the benefits of the cane. And I just wanted to say too is that I'm using the gym example for us just because it's applicable to our life, but it's really like any situation. You guys might find yourself in a different scenario. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we're just using the gym because it's kind of it's kind of like Matt's most independent time while still being dependent. Does that make sense? Like out in the world.
Yeah.
With us.
Right.
And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, one last point, is another thing that I think is it helpful or a hindrance. And I know if his trainer watched this, he would be like, Matt, come on, you can do this. But is using the stairs. So like Matt brings his cane in and Matt uses his cane to the locker room and back. But sometimes like I'm juggling my shoes, a water bottle, my phone, my purse, and Matt's hand, you know, when we're like walking up and down stairs and things. And then we always like hold hands and there's a railing, whatnot. But I think that he's learned all these like cane training skills, but it's our comfort level to go back to kind of how we always do stuff. And that's like, we just hold hands all the time.
Because it's easy.
It's easy. But is it? It's easy for Matt.
Yeah. I mean, it's
easy for Matt,
actually,
but it's not always easy for me.
It's actually easier. It actually would be easier if I just whipped my cane out and could feel the step, because then I wouldn't have to rely on Corey to get me all lined up. And I mean, we don't like make a big deal about the steps, but coming at the steps straight on is important. As all of you know, coming from an angle is a bad situation.
Bad situation.
So if I just grabbed my cane, whipped it across the front of the step like I do, and just go down, I'd be fine.
And
Not
I think
a big
it
deal.
would, and I know like this is literally about a 40 seconds of our gym time that I'm discussing is like the stairs. It's such a short amount of time, but I think it would be something that if I thought, okay, Matt's learned these skills, like he knows how to do this. This is part of his independence. I do think that it would be good, but we're just not used to it, and so that kind of goes back to, is this giving assistance a helpful or hindrance? I think it's both. I think you have to use your timing right. You know, sometimes being helpful is helpful, and sometimes it's coddling is the word I'm going to use.
Yeah.
So any wrap up, Matt, that you want to say about this? I feel like this is honestly I shouldn't say this like in our video, but I kind of think this is a good topic.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do. I would say, to wrap this up, I would say in most situations, helping is limiting, definitely. And I would say it probably is a hindrance in most situations. The reason is we can do all of these things, but like we've been talking about this whole time, for convenience, it's just so much easier to have somebody help. But we can ultimately do it all. I mean, I can literally do just about all these things that we've talked about, but in this situation, it's just like, it's so much easier and faster and more efficient to just say, hey, Corey, just help me out.
And it's less like embarrassing. It's less like traumatizing. It's just, don't you think?
Yeah.
And also, like, it's part of our motor pattern. Like, we always do things the same. And so I just want Matt to flourish like a little bird. Fly away, Matt.
Yeah.
Fly away.
Right.
So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. I hope that this video helps kind of maybe spark the discussion in your family. Tell us how you guys do it. And I want to just say one more time, this has nothing to do with me wanting to help Matt. Wouldn't you, I mean, truly, like, this isn't about like me saying I'm sick of helping Matt. This is me saying, like, I'm an occupational therapist. My job is to like help people help themselves be more independent. This is me just trying to get Matt to like build confidence and like be his best self.
Yeah, Corey's always very helpful. She's always been there, and she's always willing to help. But yeah, like we've been talking about, the whole deal with orientation and mobility training that I've been going through is to regain the independence that I've lost. Well, part of it is not only through the training and the skills that I've learned to navigate with a cane, but what can we do around the house and between the two of us to also expand my independence? And that it's just the simple things, like what we've been talking about this whole video.
It's simple. It's like 10 seconds, 30 seconds here and there of like stepping out of your comfort zone in a safe place. And all
of us know, to expand your comfort zone, how do you do it? You do what's uncomfortable so that eventually what is uncomfortable today will be comfortable tomorrow.
Ooh,
I mean, that's how you do it.
That's
I mean,
good,
really,
Matt. That's
you cannot expand your comfort zone without doing something uncomfortable, because that's just how you do it. Exactly. And eventually, once you're doing that uncomfortable task, whatever it is, a few times, well, then ultimately, at some point, it's within your comfort zone and it's just no big deal anymore.
Exactly. So Matt's come far. I want to see him go further. And I think what would be fun is to do a follow-up video in a couple weeks about kind of the similar topic and how it's gone. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
If you want to smash the like button, that's what YouTubers say. I never would say that.
Yeah, we won't be saying that.
I just did it because I thought it would be funny. So go ahead and smash the like button.
Hey, here's a better idea. Smash the subscribe button. And even better, smash the share button.
Yeah, share
do that.
This.
That's even better.
Exactly. Thank you guys for being here. We totally appreciate you. And any last word?
Do you have any shout outs since you're the captain of this here video? Anyone you want to quick think of you want to give a shout out to?
You know, I think I've already done this person. I'm going to do this person again.
Okay.
I'm going to give my shout out to Steven Zunio Hoffman.
Steven's a great friend.
Steven
He's been here for a long time.
I think I did my last shout out to Steven, most likely. But he's a good friend. I really appreciate him. And I think he also embodies kind of part of what we're talking about of like continuing to work towards gaining independence.
Yep.
And he's supportive. So that's my shout out.
Cool. Good choice. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, you're an awesome friend.
I'll also give a little shout out to Jermisha.
Oh, yeah. 10,000 steps.
10,000 steps. What?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where I'm going with that.
I think 10,000 steps, Jermisha, and Jaron Lumpkin, I think the two of them like fight for the #1 spot to write the first comment. It's funny. Like a video will post and literally like 30 seconds later, it's like, oh, look at that. We have 2 comments. Look who it is.
I know, it's cool.
Like, oh. It's like you two are like fighting for that #1 spot.
And it
it's
makes
funny.
us feel really special.
Yeah, we love the comments when they roll in right away.
Like I love it when people say like #1 and I'm always like, oh,
first.
I feel so happy.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Yep. Thanks everybody. We'll see you soon. All right. See you later.
You can't wait to see me now, 'cause lately